Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Gold Coast edition of the Village Law SEQFC preview show. My name is Darren. I am here every week, and someone who is back this week from last week is Nathan Mulhearn, who is the head coach at Robina. G'day Nathan.
G'day Darren, how you going?
Good mate, good mate. We figured while you're on school holidays, we've got to use you.
Yeah, that's right. Don't get that's only 10 weeks of the year though, or no, maybe a bit more than that.
Definitely. All right, and we've got a newbie this week. The president of Ormeau Stars Football Club is Brett Tancred. Brett, welcome.
Thanks, Darren. Thanks for having us aboard.
Yes, and you stepped up at the last minute too, which is greatly appreciated. So, look, let's just start with you, Brett. I've driven past the club many times, and my understanding of your club is that your men's competition was only playing on a Tuesday night, but you've made the step up this year to the Coast League.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we're still a very young club, 9 years in, up the northern side of the Gold Coast. So last few years we've really had a focus on our metro program, and last year that was really successful for us. We had a very strong team, and just a change in our committee this year. Obviously, I took on the president role at the end of last year, and so we sort of just took the mantra of just give it a go. We think we were ready to step into the league, and I think we've been going pretty well so far. So pretty impressed with our results to date and how we're travelling.
So 17 points on the board. Yeah, it's pretty reasonable showing.
Yeah, for your first year, you got to, obviously everyone wants to set out to win the competition, but we just wanted to make sure that we had some reasonable goals for the team. Obviously, the first goal is just to get a team established, and whether it was a Coast 1 or Coast 2 team, and with reserves. So that was the big focus for us in the pre-season. We're just getting everything up and running. And it's a mammoth effort from everyone in the club just to attract the talent that we needed to. But we were just so surprised with the turnout at trials, the amount of people that were willing to come and give Ormeau a shot. So just having that plethora of players at the start of the season to pick from was fantastic. So we aim to get 8 wins on the board this year. We're currently in with 5 in a draw, so all on track so far, and we want to do better than that, and hopefully the run home will give us that.
How big's your junior base?
Yeah, so we currently have over 400 members at the moment, so that's grown since last year. Obviously last year's a bit of an anomaly for everyone, but it's an increase of almost 100 players for us, so that's been a nice surprise. We were worried about the new club of Pimpama starting up, and what that might do to our club being so close. But all in all, we're really happy with the growth, and hopefully the projections will continue into next year as well.
Yeah, I was just going to come to that. Is this the start of a beautiful rivalry?
Always a friendly rivalry, but you always got to have those. And being so close, hopefully we'll it'll be called the local derby for us, and the guys at Pimpama hopefully will see the same thing as well.
Are they former Ormeau members?
No, not that I'm aware of. No.
Okay.
And those guys there are pretty fresh, and so having to have nice chats with them and see how they're going and support them as best we can as well. Great
stuff. All right, we'll come back to you, Brett, when we have our Coast League chat. Nathan, let's come back to you. COVID threw a massive spanner in the works of last weekend's fixtures, but there was one game that did proceed, and that was Tuesday night, and Palm Beach beat your team 5-1. Tell us all.
Yeah, they did, Darren. We had a look at the fixture list, and when the games were rescheduled we were initially supposed to play Sunday, and it got rescheduled to 3 weeks' time, and we just felt that it'd be better if we got that game out of the way sooner rather than later. And yeah, so we played. So Tuesday night we played, and it was just the one game. The Rezzies will play later. So coming out of COVID and the wet weather over the weekend, We only had to put one side out, which was a lucky thing because a couple of suspensions and a few players unavailable and injured and sick and those types of things. So Tuesday night game started off not the greatest for us. We were 1-0 down after 40 seconds. Obviously just defensive laps cost us early, and when you're struggling, it's hard to recover from those things. We had plenty of players. We had a couple of boys back up or come up from the under 18s to play with us. They did well. Boys put in a good shift, but obviously Palmy a quality side. And a couple more mistakes, and down 3-0 at half time, goes down to 4-0 just after half time. And we relaxed a little bit and got on the ball a little bit more and had a few chances and pegged one back before they scored a good free kick right on full time. So we'll take a couple of things out of the game and look to go for next week. Or this weekend now, yeah.
Did you get much of a crowd at the game?
Oh, look, there was a few people. Probably not what we would have got if it was on Sunday. There was a few people lined up along the fence when I looked over at one point.
And the team this season, Nathan, the goals that you're conceding, only 11 goals for. Are the issues? Is it fitness? Is it skills? Is it the chemistry within the team? Are there things that can be fixed going forward? Or is it just you don't quite have the personnel to match it?
Look, I think every time you go out in a football field, you should be in the contests and able to compete. I feel if we can get our best 11 on the park, we're definitely able to compete and get results. Once you go beyond that, I think we can still compete and jag results, but it just becomes that little bit harder. In terms of chemistry, things like that, I've used 38 players this year in the first team. So it's a bit hard to build that when, you've got, for a multitude of reasons, those types of things happening. So, and I look, I take every loss to heart and take it personally. I've reflected many times on different things I could have done to change all those things, to fix, for whatever reasons, we don't have the players that I would have liked or what have you. What could I have done differently? What could I have done differently in this game with the players that were available? Could I have selected someone else? So there's a multitude of things, and I suppose it stops with me as the head coach, but in saying that, we go again this weekend, and I've said it many, many times. Every week I go out there expecting that we're going to compete and we're going to look to jag a result. Ever the optimist.
As you need to be. Is this, given the restructuring that's about to occur with Football Queensland and the new zones, is this a season where you can get away with not having your best year, do you think?
Look, you probably can. And that's, and that's okay, I suppose, to look at it that way. I think, as somebody that's, as a footballer, as a football coach, as somebody that, lives and breathes the game, that's not what you want to be doing, though, coming up with an excuse like that. We didn't matter that we finished last because we've not been relegated. We've applied and we're in this league, X league or whatever. I think at the end of the day, you want to finish as high as you can and you want to win as many football games as you can. And I think that's, that's been our focus, for the last, 5 or 6 games where we know that we're struggling. We're maybe not at the level that we could be or should be. But you're still going there, every week and looking to win football games. And You know, and that's and that's not easy. But you know, that's football. That's life. You got to keep going.
The dogs are barking at Robina.
Yeah, I think may have been a delivery driver or something. My daughter's inside with her headphones on, so.
All right. So before we move on to this weekend's fixtures, I just want to just get your take on the ladder at the moment. Just see if you can nominate the team that's probably outperformed and underperformed this season.
Yeah, so I would say, and if you're going to say, well, we're last, so I've really got to nominate that we've underperformed. But, you know, as you said, those other reasons that may have happened, you know, for whatever reason, you know, we're last, we've underperformed. When I look at the ladder, I've got it just here. I really, when you look at it, you look and go, oh, yeah, that's maybe where everyone was expected to be. I think, you know, some of the results some people have underperformed in particular games, but the ladder doesn't lie, to be fair. Overachieved or sort of unexpected to be where they were. Some people would say Kingscliff. You know, to go where they've gone and some of the results that they've had. I think people knew though at the start of the year that they had some good players and they'd recruited well. So, yeah, if you were to base it on last year's results and where people finished, we've underachieved. Kingscliff have probably been the ones that have overachieved.
All right. Let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures. So Burleigh Heads are taking on Musgrave, Nerang up against Palm Beach, Robina taking on Surfers Paradise, another tough one for you there, Nathan. Southport hosting Broadbeach United and Runaway Bay up against Kingscliff. I would put to you that the match of the weekend is Nerang against Palm Beach.
Yeah,
Second
it
against
is.
third.
Yeah, for sure. That's they are both good teams. They are both fit. They're both got physical players. They've both got technically good players. They've both got good goalkeepers. Like they'll be up for it. It'll be a little bit depending on how Nerang decide to play, but mostly Nerang have played a bit of a 3-4-1-2, depending on who they've had available, and Palmy play with a 4-3-3. So it might be a little bit around how much pressure Palmy can put on Nerang in certain areas to keep them from getting forward and attacking. Because of the two boys up front, Nerang tend to attack centrally. So it'll be interesting to see that game and what happens. I might head out to watch that one. Yeah, there's some other important games as well in that weekend with you've got Burleigh Musgrave. They're sort of right next to each other in terms of league positions. So, you know, if those teams have got a glimmer of hope, they've got to win it. And the Southport Broady game as well will be one that's important in the league standings, because if Southport win, that maybe sort of gets them the edge there, and probably, you know, Broady can't make it after that. But yeah, so that'll be interesting. I'm sure they'll have had a big week of training and be ready to go.
Southport could really cement their spot in the top four with a win there, couldn't they?
Yeah, well, look, I don't know about cement. It's the Gold Coast, anything's possible, but yeah, it could go a long way to ensuring that they finish there. Yeah, same as Kingscliff. If Kingscliff can beat Runaway Bay, that maybe keeps them a little bit in the hunt. At Runaway Bay, 7 p.m. on a Saturday night, I can tell you it's not easy up there. So, yeah, and then obviously we're on Sunday against surface, unbeaten in however long. So yeah, that'll be a big test for us. But you never know. It's at our ground with a club with over 700 players. A little bit of wear and tear starting to take its toll on the pitch. So yeah, maybe a couple of bobbles go our way, and we can snatch something. I think actually, in regards to our pitch, it's not actually really overused because nobody trains on it really. But obviously games and that, but it's not level in some areas it pools water. So the water, it just dies when, you've got 2 weeks or 3 weeks of rain and a puddle sits there. It doesn't, it dies off. So yeah, it's not like what Surface last played on at the carpet at the Knights when they played Palmy.
Right. So hoping for a few fortuitous bobbles on the weekend.
Yeah, just a few.
All right, let's take a look now at the Coast League. Brett, we'll bring you back in. And no fixtures on the weekend. We can confirm that. Everything got cancelled?
Yeah, it's an announcement that came out about being postponed just due to the lockdowns, player availability and so forth. So, their view was to make it fair, just postpone that round.
Sure.
So coming up to this weekend will be important for everyone.
So just quickly, with your squad, Brett, is it what sort of age demographic are we looking at there?
Yeah, we've got a fair spread between the ages within our team, and that's probably why we came out of the blocks pretty fast and pretty well actually. After the first 5 rounds, we were right at the top of the table, so we were feeling pretty confident with things. But with a lot of other teams as well, injuries just set in, players become unavailable, and it just makes your weeks leading up to it pretty tough. And it being our first year, we've had a lot of learnings to take home from it as well. One of them being is that we just don't have an under-18s team, so we've got no backup in that space to feed up to the teams. That's been the biggest learning that we could take away from this year. Is once we've got those injuries, we have just clambered for players, pinching from our reserves team who are doing fantastic this year. Our reserves have been a really surprise packet for us. So, we've got some experience in there, which has really settled the team in, and then some young players that have been able to keep that fitness in there as well. But injuries, like everyone says, just take you down a few.
For sure. What's your eldest junior group? Under 16s?
Yeah, we have under 16s.
And do you have any girls teams?
We've entered for the very first time this year a women's metro team. So again, that was another focus of the committee this year, was just to get females into Ormeau Football Club, and again, leading from the top with the seniors, bringing the metro team in. They're a lovely bunch of ladies who are really enjoying the game every week. So we hope next year, bringing in more female teams to Ormeau FC will be something we really focus on.
Great to see. All right, now I'll pose the same question that I just asked Nathan before. Looking at the ladder, who do you think are the teams that have surprised and have underperformed this season?
Surprise, I'm Talabudra are sitting at the top of the ladder at the moment, pretty clearly too. Knowing that they were a very late entry into Coast League. So for me, that was a surprise until you just see who they've got in their team, the caliber that are coming through, those players. So it's not really a surprise now, but at the start of the season, they definitely surprised us. But Nerang have, been clawing their way up that ladder, taking the marathon approach, not a sprint. So each week they're just grinding out their wins now, and they're starting to look pretty strong. So I think they're the surprise in the comp, and I think they're going to continue. Who's been disappointing? I think I'll put Legends and us there. Again, just with injuries, started at the top of the ladder, and just slowly we've been creeping down through the positions. So I think we were set for a top 4. We were feeling very confident, and just couldn't keep the pace up.
I seem to remember Mudgeeraba, they struggled last year as well, didn't they? And have sort of made a big improvement this year.
Yeah, and they've come in pretty strong again. They're sitting in second spot. And our first game against Mudgeeraba was, they grind out that win. It was a very close game between the two teams, and that's where we were sitting, feeling pretty confident. But, Mudgeeraba have just continued on their ways, so they're looking really strong. We're up against Mudgeeraba this weekend, so we do have a few players returning back from injury. So it'll be I think a really interesting game to watch and see where we both land at the end of it.
All right, let's take a look at this weekend's fixtures. So Legends are hosting Musgrave, Nerang taking on Tallebudgera, Ormeau, you've got Mudgeeraba again, Runaway Bay against Pacific Pines, Palm Beach against Tweed United, and Tambourine Mountain have the bye. So you've just already done the preview for your game this weekend, haven't you? What about the other fixtures? Which games do you like there? That is it Nerang Tallebudgera?
Yeah, so that would be for me. I think that one's going to be a really telling game for the round. Is see where they come through. Are the Legends, have they bounced back from their injuries? Watching what they're doing as well. So as I said, Nerang seem to be growing in confidence and coming up the ladder. So this will be for us a really important game to see where everyone's sitting positional wise, but how they play out those games and how they end up with them. So I think that'll be the round of the week for us to watch it.
And I did a post on Sunday. I went up to Tambourine Mountain and went to what I thought was their home ground and was a little bit shocked with what I saw. Thankfully, they've moved. Tell me their new facility is Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, look, they have moved. And I know they struggled at the start of the season with getting their new pitch returfed. So I'm sure they've been scrambling and they've done an amazing job to, work around training schedules and venues and so forth. But, it's always fantastic. The hospitality up at Tambourine is just awesome. Everyone's so friendly and welcoming. We had our Metro games up there through the week when it was through the very cold snap. And I think it was about 3 or 4 degrees. And, they came out with blankets and put the fire on and whatnot. So, you're always happy to go up there and play them. Just such a friendly, nice bunch of, it's a, nice club. So, but their facilities, it's good to see that they get into those new facilities. The pitch is so much better now to play on as well. So it's, couldn't ask for more up there.
Brilliant. Now, you mentioned at the beginning of the show your goals and the things that you've achieved this season. What's next for you guys? Is it getting all those kids at the skate park next door to throw their skateboards away and get a ball at their feet?
Yeah, so I think big thing for us, we talk about on the committee is just changing the culture of Ormeau FC, where people just turn up on the weekend to play a game of football and getting people to love the club as well, and turning that around. So, the integration with our seniors and our juniors, I told our seniors team 2 weeks ago, it was a moment where I'll remember for a very long time, which was finally watching sort of a home game come together, watching our juniors walk them out, getting those photos, and the juniors just being so excited to go out with our seniors, to get the photos and have that interaction was sort of like our big focus of the year, and to see it all come together was that piece of the season that cemented it for me, which was like, just let's keep going. But also, we've got a lot going on at the club too. We've got a brand new fence going around pitch 1. The new clubhouse is well underway with the planning phase and working through with council in that space. So I think once we bring in some of those new facilities, start showing everyone how serious we are about building the club and getting the combination between our seniors and our juniors there. We've had a big focus on our academy this year as well. So, I think the enthusiasm and vibrance between the club is just fantastic to see, and a rejuvenation in the committee with some pretty passionate committee members is really driving the club forward. So I'm excited to see what comes through for the next few seasons.
Great to hear, Brett. That's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
All
it's
right.
Labour of love, isn't it? Everyone will say that.
So thank you for your participation today. Really appreciate you stepping up at the last minute. That's awesome. Nathan, just before we go, I just want to give a wrap to your women's team. I went and saw them play against Kangaroo Point Rovers last night, and they didn't win the game, but speaking of injuries, Matt Glue, the women's coach, told me that they had 10 players out through injury, and they took KPR all the way. They went down 2-1, but if the game had have gone for another 10 minutes, I reckon they'd have got over the line.
Yeah, that's good. I saw the result this morning. I haven't obviously seen Matt yet. Probably see him tonight. But yeah, they've been doing really well. I think they've got a good squad together, and their reserve grade is really good as well, which is obviously, as you've seen last night, they've been able to fill spots where they've needed. I know that obviously it can be a bit of a struggle for the Gold Coast teams playing in that comp when you play away. So they seem to have navigated that a little bit better this year, and maybe that's a result of only having the two teams in that league now. That them and Broady are both going really well and seem to be doing good things. So yeah, I think they'll play finals football, and we wish them all the best of luck. I just wanted to quickly touch on something that Brett was saying there about the juniors coming to senior games and stuff like that. That's a great thing, and lots of teams in the Premier League do that sort of stuff. And you don't know how much it's how good it makes the senior players feel as well, and they want to connect with the younger players. I think some committees around the place may just think that, they're senior footballers, they're just here to play, they're not interested in that. They actually do, and if they're ever asked to do things like that, like go down and visit a team or whatever, my experience is that players want to do that. They want to give back a little bit. They know that they've been lucky that a game's put on for them, and those types of things with committees that work hard and stuff like that. So that's great that's and I was down at Tweed Mudgee the other week, and it was similar. Those types of things are only going to benefit our game. I think over the past little bit of time, we've lost a little bit of that. I think back to, I can still remember going to my dad's games when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I can remember the smell of the liniment and all those types of things around the change rooms and watching the games and stuff like that. So, there was that happened. That used to happen. But now the older players that have got kids, they no longer play. They go play Metro on a Wednesday night. So their kids don't hang around the games. So, they don't hang around and learn. They don't, become those football people. Like Brett said, they want people to love the club, to love the game. So, yeah, I think we need to be a little bit bolder in our initiatives. And I know committees work hard, and, everyone's giving up their time for lots of things. But if we can get more kids down at games, get some of those older players to stick around and play in reserve grade. I remember being 15 playing reserve grade, and some of the older players you played with or played against, they taught you what senior football was about. Probably some things, lots of mums wouldn't like, but some of the language and that sort of thing. But they taught you, a lot of things about respect, about understanding the game, about, preparing yourself. It's the landscape's changed, which is a shame. So whatever we can do to get kids around football, that's not just them turning up for an hour on a Tuesday, Thursday, turning up for their game on a Saturday, and then they're gone. The more they're exposed to it, the more they're around. Kids aren't going to be there watching your game. They're not going to sit and watch 90 minutes of football, but they're probably going to be kicking a ball with their mates while they're there, and they might watch a little bit, and then they're there. So if we can grow that culture And that's a Gold Coast thing. I don't know what it's like up there in Brisbane, Darren, but for me, there's been a massive change over time. And yeah, it'd be nice to bring some of those things back. Metro killed us, to be honest. It killed that culture because a lot of guys, late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, who used to play reserve grade, now play Metro Wednesday night because they train once a week and they don't have to tell their wife why they haven't come home after 6 hours on a Saturday of being at football.
Brett, do you have something to add to that?
No, I think you're exactly right, Nathan. It's something that we see, and you do see the difference there around the commitment of senior players. Some of them do just want to, not have that commitment around such a time-consuming or perceived to be time-consuming taken out of their week with regards to the commitment in training and then the time on Saturdays and so forth. Metro definitely gives them that convenience to say, well, I'm just going to train once. It's an hour through the week that I'll train, and then I'll turn up for a game, and then I'm done, and then I get my weekends. But you're right, and the kids do turn up on the weekends. They do, if you can get them to participate in whatever it might be, being a ball boy or going and chasing the ball that goes over the fence or whatever it might be, they'll still go and kick a ball while they're waiting around. And they say the more time you're touching the ball, the more interested they are. So, and that's the philosophy I think a lot of people need to take. But it'd be interesting to see with all the changes and the reforms that are coming through as well, what that means for the game.
And the kids are always hungry. They're always thirsty. So the canteen always benefits as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we might leave it there. Brett and Nathan, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a good little chat. And that wraps up this week's Gold Coast edition of the Village Law SEQFC preview show. Good luck to your team on the weekend. We'll see you next week.